Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to actually come to this speech. I know it was kind of all of a sudden, and I'm going to push this door closed. Thank you.
She's not a voting board member, so please continue.
Yes. What I first wanted to ask was about my subject, food stamps, which is how many of you have either been on it or know someone who has been on it? Raise your hands real quick. You don't know anyone who's on it?
Never have.
All right.
You do know.
I do now.
All right. How many of you make too much to get onto food stamps right now? Yeah. Chad, would you like to get yourself into the thing?
That'd be really hard.
Okay, well, he also waved his hand upwards because he makes too much. And according to a poll made by Ratner in 2012, 46.3 million Americans were on food stamps. And that's a large number, however, that's only 1 in 7 Americans for everyone that's out there, and that was in 2012. And the things that I wanted to talk about were the reevaluation, the health usage, and the reduced spending limit. I'm going to take a glance at this. Yeah, 1,276. Right now, the income limit based on the SNAP in 2015 is $1,276 gross income. That's not after taxes are taken out of it. And the average person working 40 hours a week, minimum wage, makes $1,224 gross. So anyone who makes over minimum wage full-time or works a second job, they would not be able to get food stamps. But then you also have to include rent price, electric bills, utility, and all that. And for a one-person apartment here in Sykeston even, it's about $450 for rent for a small area. $450 after the $1,200 bills and everything else, you're looking about maybe $100 to $200 for any emergency funds or food funds, which isn't really enough to get anyone by. But what I wanted to reevaluate, the first step was the workers and the disabled and elderly being the ones that can get it, and then the recently unemployed being the third eligible for food stamps. Currently, right now, I've seen people who have had a job for maybe a month or two, and then they will go and find a way to get themselves fired to get unemployment, and then go through food stamps and go through welfare and get the whole shebang done, so they don't actually have to work. All they have to do is say that they're applying and trying for a job, get a job for about a month or so to show that they're trying, and then they're set. Now, I don't think that's right for the people who do actually work and attend work for full-time or, again, the 2 jobs. I believe that you should, at minimum, work a job for 3 months and then have a limit of how long you can be on food stamps in unemployment to maybe 2 months. And a lot of people say, well, that's not fair because it's really hard to find a job in this time and age. And I say, no, it's really not. It's hard to find a job where you actually like to work there. It's not hard to find a job at fast food or working at a sewage plant or working construction, because I came here to Missouri and I found a job at McDonald's in a week. It was my very first job, straight out of high school. So for someone else who has had job experience, or someone who has family or something who has a more proper cause to be hired on for, should have no trouble finding a job. It's just not a job that they'd like to have. The recently unemployed, the employment rate overall is actually lower than usual. It's at 5% overall. The mean duration of unemployment is 28 weeks, and the medium is 11.2 weeks. And that's according to the economic indicator, and I found that on the Kent Library in their archives. There's archives. Thank you. The second part of reevaluation would be the healthy vision, which is I've seen as a grocery store worker. I worked at Food Giants for 9 months, and I worked with a lot of EBT, and I worked with a lot of WIC, and I've seen a lot of sodas and a lot of energy drinks being bought. and I just got pointed out. I'm at 5 minutes already. Closed it. And I don't think that's right. She cussed in my classroom. She will be okay with that.
You're good.
Tell us more about your teacher.
No. Shush, Chad. You're not helping. You're right by that speaker.
Edit.
Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I think it should be cut back. I don't think certain items should be purchasable by food stamps. I think that food stamps should be a necessity, not a want. It's just like cigarettes are not something you need, it's something you want. Now, yes, it is an addiction, but sugar's also been proven to be an addiction. But you should be paying out of your own pocket for things like that. That's considered a luxury. And I found out in 2009, 43% of households below the federal poverty line are actually food insecure. But because of that, I also found, which was kind of a weird little convenience together, 9 out of 10 states with the highest poverty are also in the top 10 ranks for the obesity. And the last part was the reduced spending limit. I think that they should reduce how much on food stamps you get. And some people are like, well, I only get $150 as a one-person thing. But I've seen people with 3 or 5 kids, and they've got like $800-900 in spending. And I understand that you're feeding a lot of kids, but it should not take $800 if you are making meals for multiple people. In fact, it's cheaper to buy in bulk and make for multiple people. I was looking at a bag of rice at Walmart the other day, and for a little bag, it was like $2-3. But for this giant 10-pound bag, it was like $16. The other part that I also wanted to point out was that by doing the cut down on it, you're allowing for more people to get onto food stamps. And so, like how it said 1 out of 7 Americans, I know there's a lot more people out there who could use food stamps than just 1 out of 7. So if you reduce how much everyone can get to themselves, you are allowing more people to use the same amount of funding, so more people are having some sort of access to food security. And in conclusion, I believe that the hardworking and those who wish to use it for their needs and not their wants deserve to be on food stamps. And that's it. Yeah.
Rock on.